There were rumors going around about some abandoned old silo that had loomed over the woods. The woods were located in the middle of a field, or just dirt alongside the railroad tracks. Not like anyone cared. It's an eerie sight with just, sitting there looming over the woods with rust trailing down the sides. Anyway, some rumored it to be haunted by some old farmer who hung himself in the silo and takes his revenge on anyone who enters. I say this rumor is complete BS, especially when the ones spreading the rumors try to back up their rumors with the story of some stupid kids who were curious and went into the silo, never to come back again. Others say that the silo is just a good hangout spot where people would never find them. So, with both positive and negative comments, my geek band of friends and I decided to check it out. We decided to enhance the creepiness by choosing to visit the silo on a gloomy, cloudy day. So the day came, and my friends, Pete, Meg, and Wes, met at my house, since it was alongside the railway. We walked along the railway, talking and laughing, having ourselves a great time, until we saw it. The silo was, of course, just sitting there, looming tall over the trees. Curious, we walked towards it as our laughter, along with our talking, died down. The closer we got to it, the colder it felt, as if there was some sort of cold, dark aura radiating from it, sending shivers down our spines. Wes even let out a small little yelp. We paced around the circumference of the silo, looking for an entrance of some sort. We ended up finding a ladder leading up into it. The rungs of the ladder were also handles to open hatches all along the side of the structure. All were locked, except for one, though it was stuck, so we had Pete climb up and open the hatch, and within a few minutes we were inside the silo, standing on the hay left in there. In the center there was a large hole, deep in the hay. It was dark, but you could hear a steady flow of air coming from the bottom. Oddly enough, there was a rope descending into the hole. Since I was the only one smart enough to actually be prepared for this, I took out my flashlight. Holding the flashlight in my mouth, I began to descend. I dropped to the bottom and scanned the small area. Everything seemed safe as I looked up at the scattered hay, dirt, and other peculiar hatches. I beckoned the others to come down. As they descended, my eye had caught something covering the rope. The color was red. I hid my panic as I showed the others the hatch I found. Pete opened it, revealing a dark hole. Now, the screwed up thing was that it reeked of death. Others had sensed it too, of course. Wes had whimpered like a little girl. Meg ended up gaining the courage to take my flashlight and go first into the hole. We followed her as we walked through the dark tunnel for about 10 to 15 minutes, until Meg had told us that we'd reached the hatch, and she opened it. A bright light had filled the tunnel, and that's when we heard it. A piercing shriek, followed by the sound of something running, panting hard, in a desperate attempt to avoid the creature that had made that horrific shriek. We ran. Once we were out of the tunnel, we slammed the hatch shut, attempting to lock it. The sound had stopped, and breathing a sigh of relief, all of us had observed our current surroundings. We were in a concrete block, which appeared to be an old septic tank, but with an opening at the top, and through that opening, we could see the forest above. We began to climb out, and then it happened. Again, we heard that damn sound. Wes wasn't even out of the hole yet. Poor Wes. The creature slammed through the hatch, and a sharp, clawed hand reached out and grabbed Wes by the leg, pulling him into the tunnel. We heard his terrified screams, and then suddenly, it stopped. We heard the sharp snapping of bones and the tearing of flesh. The rest of us were frozen in shock. The sound of Wes being killed was revolting. Meg ended up vomiting at the sound. After that, we tried to find our way out of the thicket. We searched for a way for at least an hour, but we concluded that the forest had enclosed the large perimeter of barbed wire fencing. We panicked, having no idea what we should do, and also realizing that the thing comes out in the dark of night, and night was coming on fast. In a desperate panic, Meg climbed high into a tree, hoping things wouldn't be able to get her. Pete found a small hole in the ground to hide in. Bad idea. Again, we heard the shriek, and I watched the thing climb out of its home. In my panic, I quickly climbed up a tree and watched Pete sitting in the hole. I also, to my regret, had got a better look at the creature we were facing. It was the most grotesque thing I'd ever seen. Its face was mask-like, pale white against dark skin. The face seemed to only have 2 dark holes where its eyes should be, and a large smile stretching across its face. After a few moments of observation, I soon noticed that it was a mask. A mask made out of Wes's skin. I was scared shitless at this point, and was watching as the thing crawled toward Pete. I sat in the tree and watched Pete run in fear, but there was nowhere to go, and the thing caught up to him instantly. It shoved both hands through Pete's chest and tore him apart with ease. Its chest opened up to reveal bloody tendrils that wrapped around Pete's head, tearing it off from his mutilated corpse, slowly pulling it into the empty cavity before sealing shut. The skinned face of Wes was disintegrating quickly, replaced with a mask made from Pete with the same hollowed eyes and screwed up smile. Then it spoke in a soft, raspy voice. "I am the Pocket." It proceeded to crawl back into its dwelling. From the other tree, I heard Meg crying. I beckoned for her to climb down as I climbed down myself and told her we were getting the hell out of this place alive. Hesitantly, she climbed down, and I went up to the barbed wire fence and gripped the sharp wire, spreading it wide enough for someone to climb through. My hands bled out, but I ignored them as Meg climbed through the opening. Again, the Pocket shrieked, and in my panic, I hastily crawled through the opening and cut myself up pretty badly. Bleeding, I ran with Meg and ignored the pain, running until we had reached civilization once again. That was 10 years ago. Meg and I were happily married. I say were for a reason. Same reason why I'm telling you this story today. Meg is dead. She died a horrible death. It was so horrible. The police were called to the scene after a couple going for a walk through the woods found her mutilated headless corpse lying at the edge. When I say the word edge, that means that it was as far from the barbed wire fence as you could get. This can only mean that the Pocket is free from its prison. It's free, and it's coming straight for me. I know it is. This is horrible. Right now, I'm looking at our marriage pictures, trying to calm myself down with happy memories. It didn't help, because in the reflection of the glass, I saw a face slowly coming towards me. It's Meg's face, only it's eyeless, and it's got that damn terrifying smile. The Pocket, it's here. It's come to take me. I feel its hands piercing through my chest. At this moment, I realize its primitive motive. It killed to free people from the hell that now exists in this world, and I earned the privilege to be freed. I smiled.